I'm Susan, and welcome to Susan's Fun with Bags. Today we're going to make our own trash bag PPE. So this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be made out of a 55-gallon trash bag. You're going to need two 55-gallon trash bags, approximately 3 by 5, a pair of scissors, a roll of tape, and a sheet of paper. Right, so starting with our first bag, this is going to be your gown body. Keeping it folded, here's the seamed edge, here's the scallop edge. We're going to cut off the scallop edge first. All right, next we're going to make the ties for the bag. So using 2-finger width, I'm going to cut a 1-inch strip across the bottom of the unopened bag, and I'm going to save that later for the ties. All right, now we're going to make the cuts on the gown body. I'm going to start opening the bag, and at the bag opening at the bottom. At the top here is where my cut will end, at the sealed edge. All right. In the middle of the bag, starting in the center line, going through one thickness layer. I'm going to use the fold as my guide for my cuts. And if you have a really sharp scissors, you can use it like a letter opener and make a fast cut. Cuts like butter. All right, all the way down the middle, up until the seamed edge, sealed edge, and then I'm just going to stop right there. Next, I'm going to work on the neck hole. Your neck is typically hands width span, so I'm going to use my hand as a guide and estimate that. It's anywhere from 3 to 4 inches across. So I'm going to make my first cut here, staying below the seamed sealed edge and cutting across. And then I'm going to repeat it on the other side. All right, so that's our neck hole. Now, we're going to be cutting the armholes, and we're going to be making a cut through both layer thicknesses using your 8.5 by 11-inch piece of paper. I'm going to use the shorter edge, the 8.5-inch edge, and I am lining up the corner of the piece of paper just below the seamed edge, sealed edge, like that. And then I'm using 3-finger widths right here to use as my 2-inch measurement and line it up that way. And I'm going to just cut a diagonal 8 inches long and stop right there, starting from the just below the sealed edge there, holding my piece of paper in place, hopefully. Again, cutting through both layers. And then I'll repeat this on the other side. It should look like that. This is your arm opening, and this triangle flap is your gusset. My second armhole. All right, now I'm gonna put this aside for later and go work on the sleeves, and that is where my second bag is needed. All right, so first, leaving the second bag folded, I am going to cut off the seamed edge at the top. Now here's where that measurement discrepancy between different bag sizes comes into play. Hopefully that's totally separated. I need 18-inch segments. Somewhere right around there will give me 18. Now, in my case, my bag, if I fold it in thirds, will make 3 segments of 18 inches. 18 to here, 18 to here, 18 to here. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, but make sure that you have at least 71 inches from this end to this end if you're gonna fold it in thirds like I'm doing. Otherwise, measure out your 18-inch segments. doesn't have to be 100% precise, it just has to be close enough. All right, here is my thirds. It'll give me 18-inch segments. All right, I am going to take one of the thirds and open it up. And I need to take each third and cut them into thirds. Now each bag, I'm going to use the fold again as my line to cut. Each bag will make 9 sleeves. I only actually need 2 sleeves for one garment, so I have enough sleeves to make multiple garments from just that one bag. Alright. So now I have 3 sleeves from this 1/3 of this segment. I'm only gonna need 2 for this garment, so I'm gonna keep these here and save my other sleeves for my next garment. Now, taking my first bag that I cut, the gown body, we are gonna now tape the 2 sleeves into the armholes. So here's the top of the gown body, and that's the neck cut, and that's the middle line cut. Here are my sleeve hole cuts. All right, so taking our roll of tape, I like to use 3/4 inch electrical tape. I'm using white, just so it shows up better. But you can use any tape, medical tape, just a good sticky tape. The electrical tape is pretty forgiving, so that is my tape of choice. Now I'm starting with the taping of the triangular flap or the gusset, only taping half the width of the tape onto the bag. Stick that down like that and cut it off. Now I'm going to take my sleeve. This is the 18-inch edge. I'm going to fold it in half. Taking the top of the fold, I'm going to insert it into the armhole body, separating the bag a little bit, taking the top of the fold and putting it in with about a 1/2 inch overlap. Here's the 2 opened edges of the sleeve that I'm going to also stick in the bag. Armhole opening. All right. Now I am taking the taped edge of the gusset and attaching it to the top layer of the folded arm piece. I'm trying to just overlap it a 1/2 inch and stick it down. And that's my dog dreaming and wagging her tail against the floor. All right, so there's that first gusset. Now I'm going to flip the garment over. Here's the second triangular flap part. I'm going to make sure the folded sleeve part is still inside the garment, and that gusset part is overlapping the sleeve edge there. And I'm going to tape that down. Getting your tape end started is always a challenge. Again, about a 1/2 inch overlap. Taping it down. And in there. All right. Should look like that. Now I'm going to tape the rest of the sleeve. Starting where there, overlapping a 1/2 inch. Keeping it there, flipping the garment back over. Making sure it's all tucked in place. taping this edge down and overlapping that last end of tape. All right, so opening, this is what it should look like. Now we need to finish the rest of the sleeve. So we're gonna lay these two edges over each other, and sometimes they don't always line up depending on how it worked out. You can always trim that off. It's not really necessary for it to perfectly match up because the bags are so slippery, or if you have a severe case of static, it makes the lining up and taping a little challenging. All right, and I'm gonna just trim off the tape and any unevenness. All right, so you would repeat the same steps on the other side to attach the other sleeve. I'm gonna move on to the final step, which is attaching of the tie. Going back to the 1-inch strip that we cut off way in the beginning, we're gonna cut this into 4s. So cut there, cut there, edge up the 4 edge. Doesn't have to be perfect. Cut there. All right, I'm just gonna do 2 of the 4 ties because it is the same procedure repeated on the other side. For each tie, I like to use 2 pieces of tape. It just secures them better. All right, take your first tie, put on a piece of tape. Starting up at the neck opening, I'm gonna tape my first tie at the top there, secure it with a second piece of tape on the back. Then, using an arm measurement from the elbow to the top of my hand, lay my hand down, and that's where I'm going to place my second tie. Secure that with the second piece of tape. And so repeating that step and this step, you will have your own PPE, personal protective equipment, rain gear, Halloween costume, or trash bag gown. Ta-da!